Hi, everyone. Hey, welcome back. It's good to see you all. Hey, happy Sunday, everyone. Welcome back. It's been a little while. Happy to be here with you all on this Sunday Q&A. And I hope somebody has some questions or not. We'll just sit here and play if you don't. I just returned from Garrison, New York. I was with Rupert yesterday. That was really fun. And I had a film crew with me. We did a filming with Rupert, and it'll be part of the documentary that we're working on. It's very exciting. I interviewed three of his three, students. They were just, could be any of you, could be me, but I interviewed Rupert and three of his students, and it was really, really great. And the one thing that I started hearing repeating itself in the interviews is the word freedom. People are expressing they're finding freedom in the content of his teaching. Excuse me. I kept hearing the word freedom mentioned, and that was really fun to see that unfold, and also the maturity of the response to the questions was great. And of course, Rupert was amazing. I think he received a firmware download because he's just clearer and clearer. And that was another message that people were saying that were attending that retreat. And some of you here may have been in his online retreat. I was told that there were hundreds at the online retreat as well. So it's really great to connect with him. And tomorrow I'll connect with Shakti. I don't know if all of you know Shakti Katerina Magi. I'll be interviewing her tomorrow. And thank you for being here for your Sunday Q&As, for the Sunday Q&As. We're on lesson 95 today. It's, of course, one of my favorites. We have a few favorites. And I am oneself, united with my Creator. I am oneself as the awareness of love's presence, as the expression of the Creator. And that is our inheritance. That's our true self. For some of you were in the book study that we just finished, Being Myself. That's it. That's it, being myself. So how many here are aware of this experience? How many? How many are here? Raise your hand if you're aware of this experience. Yes, right there. That's it. That's the cognition, the understanding. Bernardo Kastrup calls it, and also scientists and philosophers call it meta consciousness, where awareness is aware of itself. That's meta consciousness. And and then phenomenal consciousness is awareness that's aware of objects of experience, aware of the objects of experience. And science is unfolding that understanding and more clear. And one of the things that in my interview with Rupert, of course, this you won't see this for some time, probably the end of the year or the beginning of next year, because I'll be interviewing about 10 of the great teachers of our time around the world, and we'll be taking a film crew to each of these teachers. But yesterday Rupert was in New York, so I drove up there, and the film crew met me there. We did our first interview. We have about well, we have at least 9 to go, plus students. So we're doing maybe 2 documentaries. But in that conversation that I had with Rupert, he's being called by city municipalities to teach them. He's being called by corporations to teach them these ideas. He's being called by AA wants him to do a presentation. So he's being called by all of this. This is really getting more well known. And in our conversation, we really feel, or he feels, and I had this conversation with Lisa weeks ago, in the last couple of weeks, that this understanding in 20 years will be commonplace. Why? Because we have Zoom and this amazing technology that goes around the world, and we more and more people have access to this understanding. And you don't have to go to the mountain. The mountain comes to us right here in the comfort of our home and office and our iPhone. It's all right here. So very excited about what this is. The title of our documentary might be Awakening Mind, but I think it's going to be that's just the context of the documentary. It's really, the mind is awakening and is awake, but mind is awakening around the world. I call it awakening awareness, because awareness, it doesn't really wake up, but it seems like we have clearer and clearer understanding, and it's a gradual thing. The progressive path is gradual. That would be A Course in Miracles. I interviewed a monk, a woman who was a Zen monk for 8 years, and that's also a progressive path. The Buddhist Zen tradition. A Course in Miracles is progressive, and many of us need the progressive path to sufficiently open the mind to accept the direct path. And what is the direct path? You, beloved, you are the direct path. You are the light that shines on all experience. not the bodysuit, not the bodysuit. You, you, I am, are the light that shines on all experience. So just being you is shining that light. And when, of course, this is why the progressive path of A Course in Miracles is so important and helpful, because if you don't get stuck in the concepts, it's very important, very helpful, because what hides the light, what veils the light in our own experience are grievances, anger, shame, blame, projections, judgment, duality of all kinds. That's why we need to leave the Course, even if it's only for a day, right? We need to leave the Course and leave the duality, even if it's only for a second, even if we need to have the understanding that there's no two. There's no you and me. There's no, pick a name off the board. Those are just labels. And what you are is the awareness of the label. You are the awareness of all experience in the background, just the movie screen, and you're the movie, and all of these other characters are also characters in the movie. And so is this computer character in the movie. And yet you are the space of consciousness, of awareness, that all of these characters in the movie arise within. You are that. You are the godness. You are the I am that I am. You are the isness of pure presence and awareness. It's like a beautiful, beautiful understanding. And when you rest in this awareness, when you rest in this understanding of knowing the self, when you just rest here as awareness, okay, so we're right there. Nobody's not aware of this experience. And just stay present as awareness. And right there, everything that you need comes into that space of isness. Everything that you need. This is what the Course means when it says, once you accept his plan, the plan of God, the plan of pure presence, the plan of awareness, once you accept its plan as the one function that you will fulfill, there will be nothing the Holy Spirit or aware presence will not prepare for you before you reach it. Making straight your path, all obstacles will be barred, they'll be just set aside, right? And you'll be this open space of awareness, available, accepting, welcoming, loving, being. And when you rest in this place, go to lesson 109. You're resting in God. You're resting as presence. Just like today's workbook lesson says, 95, I think it's 95, but this is the one I'm going to use. I am oneself united with my creator. That's you. That's me. That's not you and me. That's I. That's I am. I am that I am. Just kind of drink that in as awareness. Just drink in the understanding that you are the omniscient, omnipresent, omniscient presence of God, of I am. You, I am, is what God is. That's your I am, and you can't do anything about that. That's just a fact. You is. It's very exciting. So let's rest in this place of isness, the oneness of our oneself. Acknowledging this is all it takes, just bringing your attention to it, bringing your attention to I am. That's the holy instant too. I mean, there's so much wonderful language that's in the Course. And that's why when I go back and listen or watch the workbook lessons, I love it. I love those things I did a year and a half ago. I had no idea they were so good. I was driving back from filming Rupert yesterday, and I listened to 3 of them. It's a 4.5 hour drive. I listened to an hour and a half of me. And I enjoyed it very much because it was the Course in paraphrasing, in a non-dual paraphrasing language. I was really enjoying, I wasn't like caught up on who was doing it, but it would just happen to be this bodysuit. I was really enjoying the whole experience of listening to Bill in that expression. And I it's pretty clear. I wouldn't change a thing. I'm wondering if I've changed since I did those a year and a half ago. I don't think I would change anything on those lessons. And they're so clear because they speak to the integration of the progressive path of A Course in Miracles and the direct path of knowing the self. Because that's all the Course is here to point us to the truth of I am. And some people think that awakening is later. I'm just not in agreement with that. If you're aware of this experience, if you have the glimpses, you're awake. And now the light will do the work, and there's no next destination. That's fool's gold. If you think you're going, if you think the Dalai Lama is someplace that you aren't, or you think that Muji is or Rupert is, they're not. I was with Rupert yesterday. He's just like this. He wrinkles and he tears and he has pain. And is he articulate and amazing what rolls out of him? Oh yeah. He is right now receiving a firmware update, as are you, as are each of us. And I am just grateful that this bodysuit is picked this time to manifest itself, or that awareness, awakening, decided to drop in and be this bodysuit and be in the United States or in a free country to have free expression as we do. Anyway, so grateful that all of you are here. And if anyone has any questions, please raise your hand and I'll do my best to answer them. Thank you for being here. I just want to make one comment. Don't forget to register for the conference. Lindsay, would you please drop a link in the chat for everyone, just so it's real easy for them? It's a free conference. There's 25 speakers there. They are amazing. And some of them you may have heard, others are new to the conference. And Jason, thank you for raising your hand. The mic is all yours. Thanks for being here.
Hi, Bill.
Hey.
Pleasure meeting you. I believe I saw you at I think it was another free retreat that Corinne Zupko let her course group know, and I think you were involved in that. I feel so like everything is so in flow today. I can't even believe this is happening. I mean, I literally got a little notice on my phone for some reason that usually doesn't come up about this 3 minutes before the start. And I have and about an hour ago, I had just a random piece of paper stuck in my Course in Miracles book, and it was underlined for me. It
What does it
says,
say?
the goal of the curriculum, regardless of the teacher you choose, is know thyself. There is nothing else to seek. Oh my God.
I know.
I have goosebumps, because I couldn't believe it. My phone was like, it's in 3 minutes. I can make this. I forgot all about this. I must have clicked on something some time ago, and it just happened. And the last today and yesterday, I've been really kind of going back to the power of now, because that was my foundation. And I've been doing just really heavy study with the course for about a year and a half, but a year especially. And I had some conflict in my mind about the course and non-duality, because the course is the language is so it can get a little bit confusing for me. But the non-duality, and you're not gonna believe this. I'm gonna just turn off my video for a second. That's a quote from Rupert Spira.
Yeah.
That was not planned. I've only had that up for maybe 3 days, and it just this is exactly what I needed.
Mm.
I don't know how else to explain it. It wasn't even planned. I just asked, just tell me, you take over, do what you got to do, you know? Let me stand out of the way. And I've been watching my mind and my thoughts as much as possible. And I mean, I even have glimpses of no thought. So it's just everything seems to be in flow today for some reason, and it's all falling together somehow. And there's no control involved.
Yeah, nice. That's a common, I interviewed three of Rupert's retreat students yesterday, and the um, the common experience that was described is is just being moved in decisions, in life, in relationships, in everything that's done. It's that verse that I said at the very beginning. Once you accept his plan as the one function that you will fulfill, there will be nothing the Holy Spirit. And I like to take his plan out because there's not a him, and I take the Holy Spirit out. Once you accept the experience of what you are as pure presence, as awareness, there will be nothing this presence will not do for you without your effort, without your help, without your management. It moves everything. Why? Because you are the light of pure presence. You are that essence of God that does everything. You're the essence of God that inspires Jason to put that in his image. You are the thing that inspires Jason to send Jason to consciousness, to send Jason a message that to go here, go there. We're the message service in consciousness that sends us what we need to support us in our awakening. We're the consciousness. So just be grateful in gratitude to love, to presence, to God, to you, Buddha, Jesus, Dalai Lama, coffee cup, anything. It's all God. It's all God. Everything is God in service to your awakening. And your awakening happens at the intensity or the level of the desire of your heart to wake up. It happens at the level of your desire of truth. Because if you look in the Course, if you're following the Course and you look up in the Manual for Teachers, what is the resurrection or the resurrection? It is the single desire of the Son for the Father. So take out the pronouns and the genders. It's the single desire of love to love. It's the single desire of, for you, awakening awareness, awakening consciousness. It's the single desire for you to wake up. That's the resurrection right there. And that's why one shows up on a Sunday. That's why we're so compelled to hear the truth, to seek after the truth. Because once we hear the truth, and it's just, it's true. It's like yes, take me, take all of me. And that's just where we are. And in my interviewing Rupert yesterday for this documentary, I asked him if he felt that, because he gave a statement that this is our time. Right now is the consciousness, and this generation is ripe for awakening. And in that interview, I asked him if he felt that the world could have that shift in our lifetime. And he affirmed, he felt that it could. And I agree with that. I feel that it could. And you see things, of course, like Ukraine and this travesty and that situation, that's crazy land. And you see all of these things. And yet consciousness is gradually rising in awareness of itself. And I used to be a Christian. I'm so happy that churches are getting smaller and smaller, because that message has to go away. That's an old paradigm. That's an old model. It helped us. I mean, it hurt us a lot. Tens of millions of people have been killed in the name of God, unfortunately, but it did somehow, it maintained a thought of God, and we're able to emerge out of that old model of dogma and false perceptions. But we're in consciousness because we have this vehicle here. We have the computers and Zoom and technology, that this is our time. And as bad as it looks, there's many millions of people that are waking up right now. And many of them are you, that are awakening to your true nature, to your true self. And if anyone has any questions about that, and you're not sure, and something rises up for you to get clear on, if I were to ask you, are you aware of this experience? And you go to check in with the answer to that, are you aware of this experience? This awareness is the within that Jesus spoke about when he said the kingdom of heaven. The kingdom of heaven is really just an understanding of your true nature. The kingdom of heaven isn't later when the bodysuit dies. It's an understanding of what you are, that you and the Father are one, you and God is, you and isness is the only one isness. The I that you are at 2 years old is the same I that's 8 years old, and it's the same I that you are that's 10, 30, 40, 60. It's the same I. You don't feel different there, do you? You don't feel a different me. You're still the same me. When you were 6 years old and playing with your friends, or in the sandbox, or teenager years, the me that you were then is the same me that you are now, because this me doesn't change. This me is eternal. This me that's you is God. It's God's presence. And these are all the activities that God's presence is doing in all of these different forms, all these different names and genders and characters in this movie. But you are the presence of me, of I am, of is. And that's so refreshing. And that's what I heard yesterday in those interviews, is freedom. This pointing and this understanding is bringing freedom to the prodigal son, to the prodigal, it's not really a gender, it's not even a daughter, but to the prodigal one, to the one that thought it was lost and now it's found. I once was, that, what's that great song, Amazing Grace? that has a lot of great points to it. I once was lost and now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. And, it's just true. And here we are. I am oneself. You are the self of I am. So we have about 30 minutes left. I'll just kind of rest here and see if any more questions come up. So good to see all of you. Oh, Jason has already had his question up. Jason, do you have another question? Or Jason was just making a comment. Indigo was pointing out that your hand was up. Thank you. Thank you, Indigo. This is a good opportunity to rest in awareness, just being aware of thoughts, feelings, emotions, just being aware, because the thoughts, they come and they go, and awareness is unchanged by thoughts. Feelings, they come and they go. I had this conversation with somebody at the retreat center yesterday. Sometimes when you're stupid, you think you need to say everything to your partner, to your spouse or your partner. If it's coming in my mind, I need to say it, just being honest. That is a total lie. That is so false. Don't buy into that, because your thoughts just come and go. And I had a conversation with one of my siblings who said, and my siblings used to call me Billy. As a boy, I was Billy. And she said, Billy, I had a thought. Now, this is several years ago. Billy, I had a thought of suicide. And I'm in, it's just me and my sibling. And I said, okay, well, that's cool. I'm glad you're telling me and not somebody that's going to take that serious. And it's not going to make you guilty for it. And she said, well, I don't know what to do with it. I said, don't do anything with it. It's just a passing cloud. It's a thought. That's not, don't grab a hold of that thought. Lots of people have suicide thoughts and other things, and they're just passing clouds. I said, I'm just glad that you decided to talk to me about it, because I'm probably the one of your siblings that could just dismiss it for what it is. It's the nothingness that it is. It's only when you take those things serious and you say, I own that, that now you start to believe the thought, and it starts to build and manifest itself. It's like I was watching someone. Oh, if you were on Regina's call last week, she gave a great analogy of that kid that became a serial killer. That was when he was a little boy, he wanted to know what it was like to kill a squirrel. And he had this thought, oh, I wonder what it'd be like to kill a squirrel. And then he killed the squirrel and he goes, oh, that was cool. And then he had other thoughts. I wonder what it'd be like to kill a bigger animal. And then all of a sudden he became this like killer for people. And it's only when you attach yourself to the thought, when you own it, bring it in close and start nurturing it. And the I am that you are, it begins to manifest a story that goes with that thought. So this is why we stay rooted as keeping our attention on awareness, keeping our attention on I am. Short moments, many times, becomes a new default. Hi, Olinka.
Hi.
Did I say your
Yes.
name right?
Yeah, it's just phonetic, Olenka. Yeah, thank you.
Olenka. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. I was going to say that, like, I understand the principle, obviously, but it's one thing for me to observe my thoughts. It's another thing for me to observe my emotions. Like, I find it difficult to create distance with emotions that can feel, quite overwhelming. And so I know it's happening. I know I'm like, especially with sadness, which is what's coming up for me in this last month.
Sadness.
Sadness, yeah,
Okay.
great sadness.
Yeah.
Because of the war, and I really struggle to feel at that distance. It's kind of like, the emotion is like this rushing torrent,
Mm-hmm.
and I can't kind of find the quiet spot to be in and to observe that torrent. I feel like I get swept away by the torrent.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's it's because it's so close. The feelings, they're all, and they're almost simultaneous with thoughts. So thought, which is first, the feeling or the thought, they're so close. And but you can, this is why this I would call it training, but it's really, it's noticing little things, noticing sensations, noticing, you have a feeling. It's even in the overwhelm, it's like, first of all, especially if it's if it's about the war, it's usually something that you read, something that you picked up on, a news flash or something. So it comes in, is hearing it first, and then you just need to be vigilant to be aware of the thought that breeds the feeling. Be aware of the thought that breeds the feeling experience, because when you see it, because as you're even describing it, awareness is always present, and it does take practice to zoom out just a little bit from the experience, and it only takes just a momentary glimpse to begin to make a space so that the overwhelm doesn't move in.
So would it be like, if I'm feeling that overwhelm, just telling myself to observe it?
That's a really good first step. The observe, to observe, and also to welcome it, also to not make it bad, because it's baby steps for big things like that, like mostly a partner, where you have all of a sudden you're in the middle of a shitstorm of something that happened. It could be a child, could be but it's things that are people that are close to you, that all of a sudden you're in those, and you don't know how to leave it, and those are so close, and it takes. This is why the Course teaches, and I don't know if you follow the Course, but it says to be vigilant for God. Be vigilant as awareness. Be vigilant, not for God out there. Be vigilant as aware presence. And this is why even today's workbook lesson, I'm looking at it right here, 95. I am oneself united with my creator, with what God is, with what I am that I am. And paragraph number 5 says, frequent and shorter practice periods have other advantages at this time. And in my mind, that sentence right there is short moments of awareness many times, just short moments. So begin practicing even when it's, you're just, because I still play games with this one. I notice mostly in the morning when I wake up, there's a tendency for the bodysuit to want to jump out of bed and go make a cup of coffee. And I'd find that if I just be aware of just sensations, what different body parts are touching, or just be aware of thoughts, short moments many times becomes a new default. And things that are feeling based are the things that, what's the thought that's prior to the feeling. Just try to catch that, be aware of it. And then when the overwhelm happens, just be aware of the overwhelm and don't wish for it to be different. Don't make it good or bad. Don't label it, because that's duality and that's judgment, and that gets you back in the loop. And if you can just stay aware of the overwhelm and just love it, it's still God. It's still what you are. It's still what God is. And then welcome it. And then it's no longer a stranger, and it'll just dissipate into the nothingness that it is. And all of a sudden, Olenka she'll be doing something else. You'll just say, oh my God, that's gone.
So I'm not suppressing it. I'm letting it be, and then it just goes.
Yeah, you're loving it. You're including it. You're bringing it in, and it's no longer, because at first overwhelm or the thought, those things are, there's a judgment, there's a belief, there's a good, a bad. There's so much energy in that thought that created the feeling, and it's separation anxiety, and you as presence, as awareness, you need to bring it in and allow it to be loved, to be exactly as it is. And then that false energy, that thing that wanted to rise up to be energetically opposite to love, it just dissolves into love, as love, because it's all arising out of love. Yeah. Go be gentle on yourself. That's the main thing. Be gentle on yourself, and just allow everything to be as it is. And that's not just a cliche. That means, just, oh, yeah, overwhelm. Olenka's so upset. And see if you can just be like watching the movie, Olenka's upsetness, and allow it to not have judgment. Even sadness, all of those things, there's not a good or a bad. It's just happening. And that'll give you a little bit of space to you'll see that will dissipate that experience, and you'll stop suffering.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yada's in the house. Hey, Yada. Good to see you. I've been listening to those workbook lessons, and Yada was always there. Rana was there in the mornings. There were so many. Charles was always there, Chuck, and listening to those workbook lessons. I'm so glad I mentioned you guys when you were there. There were 30 or 40 people that would come on live with me when I first did those lessons. It was just like a big party. Will the recording be posted on YouTube? Which one? This one, Jason? Yeah. Yeah, it's being recorded on YouTube right now, and Lindsay will send it out as an email. It's also it'll be there when we're finished. Where can I register for the free conference? Did the link not get dropped in? It's right there in the chat. Look where it says Lindsay to everyone. Lindsay is in the background for us. She is my youngest daughter, and she is an amazing tech person, and we're just enjoying this experience of working together. She just showed up on my radar and started in learning how to do all this technology, and now she helps with conferences. There she is. She dropped it in the chat again. She does all kinds of cool stuff for us, and she makes her dad real happy and proud. Also, she has a cool little kid named Macy Mace. Macy, the second Mace is my name for Macy, but she's my 2.5-year-old granddaughter, and oh my God. If I only had Lindsay to have Macy, that would be worth having Lindsay for. Sorry, Lindsay. No, I really appreciate. Lindsay has really made her dad a happy grandpa, and she's such a great mother. And anyway, glad to have her here. What's your favorite workbook lesson in the last month? Does anyone have a favorite workbook lesson out of the last 30 that we did? Did you guys, did anyone listen to 91? The miracles are created, or 91. Miracles are seen in the light. Yeah. Miracles are seen in light. That workbook lesson was, I mentioned in that workbook lesson that when I did that workbook lesson about, I don't know, probably 5 or 6, maybe more years ago, I was hooked on drugs. I was hooked on oxycodone, really hooked on it. I mean, Lisa didn't know. I was eating at least 60 of those pills a week, those little oxycodones for pain, because I had knee surgery. And those little boogers, man, they got me hooked on themselves. And I was presenting at a Course in Miracles group, and I was talking about that lesson, miracles are seen in the light. And I told everyone that I was hooked on those little oxycodone pills. I was totally hooked on. I wouldn't tell Lisa. I'm eating those things because they're making, first they were making me feel good. First they were taking the pain away. Then I was taking them so I could feel good. Then I was taking them so I wouldn't be in pain for not taking them. And when I read that workbook lesson, it inspired me to go home that day and pour my pills in the toilet. And I went cold turkey for 3 days, and it was the most painful thing. I feel my heart is really compassionate to people that go into addiction, because addiction happens just from wanting to feel better. It happens, just from wanting to relieve this pain and suffering. And even little things like pharmaceutical drugs. I started taking more of those because I really liked the feeling that they gave me, that oxycodone feeling. But oh my God, when they run your life, when you have to have them to have, to operate. Mm-mm. So anyway, miracles are seen in the light, and this is such a great lesson for releasing anything that's bothering you. If you have addictive behaviors, or if there's something that you need healing on, this workbook lesson is really a good one, because it does denials and affirmations. I am not this, I'm not weak, but I am mighty in awareness. I am not little, but I am what God is. I am the essence of I am. And it's not a prideful kind of a statement. It's accepting yourself as God created you. I am not helpless, but all powerful. I am not limited, but unlimited. Now, this is your I am. This is I am presence. I am not doubtful, but certain. I am not illusory, but reality. I do not see in darkness, but in awareness. I do not see in darkness, but in light, as light. And these affirmations, these denials and affirmations, if you have anything like any of these, if you have doubts, because aware presence is a certainty of I am. If you have doubts, just be aware of that, and don't judge yourself for it. Don't make it good or bad. But if you see that you have doubts, or if you have anger, just be aware of it. Rest in God, resting in awareness of the bodysuit that has anger. Rest and aware of the bodysuit that has grievances, that has worry. And sometimes things that like if you watch too much news and that causes you to worry, watch less news. Just watch less news and give yourself a little break. And then, be aware of the thoughts and the feelings and the emotions that that creep in and cause you to worry or be fearful or judgmental. I'm telling you, if somebody's judgmental, it would be this guy right here about the war or presidents or stupid things, and yet I rest as awareness. I don't judge. I don't judge Bill for having those thoughts. I just see it. I see it, and workbook lesson 34. I can choose peace instead of this. Right? I choose peace instead of this. That's a great one. Yeah. So these are just ideas. These workbook lessons are so great. If you change them, I mean, they're great anyway, but they're better when the way I may paraphrase them. I'll just say that 122 is a great one. I saw that Dove Fishman was here a little while ago. A few years ago, we were in a conference that John Mundy put on, and David Fishman was there. And I got this idea. This was before I reread all those workbook lessons. It must have been 4 years ago. This was before I re-paraphrased all the workbook lessons. And I just thought, and I was one of the presenters at this little conference, and I thought, I'm going to surprise everybody. I'm going to change the words in this one workbook lesson, 122. Forgiveness offers everything I want, right? Forgiveness offers everything I want. Now, what happens when you take the word out, forgiveness, and put awareness in? Awareness offers everything I want. Awareness offers everything I want. What could you want? Awareness cannot give. Right? Isn't that beautiful? What could you want? Awareness. And so that's the antidote to everything. That's the antidote to worry, fear, judgment, duality, grievances, hatred, everything. That's the antidote right there. Awareness. What could you want that awareness doesn't give? Drop into awareness. Just drop right into awareness and be aware of overwhelm, of judgment, of awareness brings it to your attention, and then the mind makes you guilty for it. But if you drop in awareness and just stay as awareness. So the two things, if you decide to go back and reread that workbook lesson, there's two words I'm going to invite you to change. Change forgiveness to awareness, and change salvation to awakening. Those two words. It'll change workbook lesson 122 for you, and it'll bring it in such a rich and direct experience. Yeah. Awareness. What could you want awareness cannot give? Do you want peace? Awareness offers it. Do you want happiness? A quiet mind? A certainty of purpose? A sense of worth and beauty that transcends the world? Do you want care and safety and the warmth of sure protection always? Do you want a quietness that cannot be disturbed? A gentleness that never can be hurt? A deep, abiding comfort and a rest so perfect it can never be upset. All this awareness offers you and more. Right? There it is, man. There it is. Rest in awareness, my friends. Just make that your anchor. Resting in awareness is your true self. It's resting in the essence of what you are. It's resting in the God is place. It's your birthright. You're the prodigal one. You're the prodigal one. It's no gender or anything like that. You're the prodigal one, and you're home as awareness. Well, thank you all for joining with me today. Please feel free to share that link for the conference with any of your friends. It's totally free. It's going to be a great time. I talked to Rupert yesterday. He's looking forward to sharing with us on that day. And someone asked me before I came online what the next book is. The next book is a pre-record book study. It's 10 weeks, and it's got a nice rotation in it. It'll be every Wednesday at 12 noon. Lindsay will she'll make that available in your member area. And it's a awesome book study in the book I Am by Jean Klein. I mentioned it in the book study that I was going to do it live, and I thought, why do it live when I've already done it? So I'm going to take a break for 10 weeks and give you that pre-record, and we're going to pick up on, I think it's June 1st. Okay, June 1st, we're going to start You Are the Happiness You Seek. It just came available on Amazon. It's not out in the UK yet, which is why we have the delay in the next Rupert book study. But it's a yellow cover book, You Are the Happiness That You Seek. And I'm sure there will be a lot of people on that book study with us. It's always a good time. And thank you all for being with me on this Sunday. I love you all. Mwah. Bless you. And
Thank you.
I'll be back again on the first Sunday of next month. So I've changed it to just once a month. And thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank
Bye,
you,
everyone.
Bill.